Bakugo is easily the best written rival character I've ever seen in Shonen and is not even close. The person he begins the series as and the person toward the end of the series are just two completely different people. And I think the thing that really makes me appreciate his character is that when the show first started, I did not like him. Because at the beginning of the show, he's just being a dick to Midoriya all the time for what seems to be no reason. He wants to be a hero without a quirk, and so you find that as a reason to bully him, beat him up, take his stuff, blow it up, and tell him to kill himself? I was thinking, nah, he's definitely going to become a villain in the future. And that's why after Midoriya and Bakugo fought each other in that practice round back in season 1, when everybody was saying that Bakugo had already left the school early and he's like finna go home, I'm thinking, oh, this dude is definitely going to become a villain later. But then the thing that started to make me like his character was that he turned around to Midoriya and he told him like, look, dude, I know I lost. You beat me fair and square. I thought I was the best dude here, but that girl with the ponytail, she's smarter than me. That dude with the ice power, he's stronger than me. I got a lot of work to do so I can beat all of you. And then he left. I was used to seeing rival characters that were jerks and jackasses to like never learn their lesson. He'll make up some type of excuse as to why he lost, but no, right here, Bakugo is admitting why he lost and how he needs to do better. And even though I wasn't on board with this character yet, at that point I was like, okay, I respect this dude though. He still talk a really big game a lot of the time, but another good thing about Bakugo that I learned to appreciate as the story went on was that even though he may talk trash all the time to everybody, he is very good at backing it up. Like while you're seeing some of the other students like Midoriya, Tsuyu, and Mineta having trouble dealing with these villains at the USJ, as they should. They're still children. Bakugo's over here making this stuff look like Easy Street, and I'm like, he be talking a lot of trash, but if he can back it up, I'm here for it. However, despite these positives, he was still a jerk in the series, but he was punished for being that jerk. During the provisional license exam, he did amazing in all the other categories, but because he was a dick to every person that he saved, he failed. And honestly, I think it was a really brave decision to make Bakugo, like the rival character to Midoriya, fail this exam on something that had absolutely nothing to do with his hero prowess or his fighting ability. And then from losing to Midoriya, to getting kidnapped by the League of Villains, to failing his provisional license exam, everything started to prey on his mind to the point where he like broke down to Midoriya, telling him like, I was the person that ended All Might. It's because I was weak. And then you look back on the entire series and it all makes sense, like, oh, this dude never had a superiority complex. He always had an inferiority complex. So anytime he saw Midoriya trying to reach out to help him, he thought Midoriya was doing it because he was weak. And the only reason he thought that is because Bakugo himself thinks he is weak. That's why he pushes himself so hard. But then to see this quirkless dude constantly like trying to help you out, you're like, wow, no matter how hard I push myself, he still thinks I need help. So I must still be weak, because he just didn't see himself in a good light. But it was during this fight that he and Midoriya were finally able to talk to each other and like get that out of the way. And now that he knew that Midoriya wasn't trying to hide anything from him because he thought he was weak or something, and now Midoriya understands like, oh, this dude, he was in his whole head the entire time. It wasn't even really about me. They were able to come together and, for lack of a better term, become friends. Like, Bakugo will still be a jerk from time to time, but I mean, he's a jerk to everybody. That's just how he is. Like, this dude is a jerk to his own mother, come on. But even with all that clear, he does still see like somewhere deep in his heart that things are not as good as they're supposed to be. He still did a lot of messed up stuff to Midoriya. He's telling All Might about all this because now he's understanding like, yeah, we're about to go to war with these villains. And yeah, these villains are dangerous as freak. I would know. I got kidnapped by him. So now all the pressure that Midoriya has on him, Bakugo is seeing it and he's like, wow, I just added unnecessary tension and unnecessary drama to this boy that's already carrying the weight of the world. So after he saw Midoriya trying to shoulder the weight of the world on his own, while Bakugo's like, man, I didn't even make that situation better for him. He went out, he got back to him, and he was able to apologize fully for what he did. How many times do you see a rival character or like a character that's supposed to be a rival but they're a villain and then they join the good side later, you know, like Vegeta? They never really apologize for their actions. They just, you know, do some good deeds here and there and it's like, all right, we good now, I guess, but we're not going to say anything about it. I really appreciate that Bakugo felt the need to say it out loud to Midoriya and in front of everybody. It's to the point where he's in future fights later on and he's getting beaten up to a bloody pulp the same way Midoriya would be. And he's now thinking, what would Midoriya do in this situation? I can't falter right now because Izuku wouldn't. And ultimately, I think Bakugo is like a perfect character to see the beauty of My Hero Academia as a story. Because both Bakugo and the story start very light and then as it progresses, they both get darker and more complex. And once you start to see that, it becomes very obvious as to why Bakugo has won every single character poll since the series has begun. Because even if you didn't like his character in the beginning, like me, he feels like a real tangible person for understanding his mistakes, learning from his mistakes, and becoming a better person for the story moving forward. That is why Bakugo is a masterclass in writing and why he is the best rival character I have ever seen committed to Shonen Jump.